Good morning, everyone, and welcome to NYSE Live. I'm Kristen Schuller here in studio at the Stock Exchange. Well, equities are fractionally higher this morning as we enter the final session of this first full trading week of 2026. Investors are digesting the December jobs report, which came out at 8:30 a.m., and we'll dive into those numbers here in just a moment. Well, Wall Street closely monitors the monthly jobs report for a gauge on the consumer and the path forward for interest rates. The Fed will announce its next policy decision on January 28th. Let's take a look at what's on tap this hour. Getting things started on a Friday. Professional bull riders, better known as PBR, is set to ring the opening bell ahead of its Monster Energy Buck-Off event at Madison Square Garden this weekend. We'll have coverage of today's celebration throughout the hour, including exclusive access to executive remarks from CEO and Commissioner Sean Gleason. Plus, CES, which bills itself as the most powerful tech event in the world, ends today in Las Vegas. And Frank Gruber, co-CEO of Established, is on the ground. He'll tell us what he's taking away from startups participating in this year's event. Plus, another happening also recently taking place in Las Vegas. That was Money 2020 USA. Made a lot of headlines across the financial technology space. And you'll want to hear what Fireblock's SVP of Payments and Network, Rand Goldie, had to say about the industry's evolution. Well, we teased it earlier, but just about a half hour ago, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BLS for short, did release the December jobs figures. And here's what we learned. The U.S. economy adding 50,000 jobs last month, coming in a little bit below economists' estimate of 73,000. The unemployment rate moving down, though, by 2 basis points to 4.4% from 4.6%, and better than what economists had anticipated as well. They saw a figure of 4.5%. Now, according to this data, employment continued to trend up in food services and drinking places, healthcare, and social assistance. Well, meanwhile, the latest data shows that a majority of traders are still not anticipating a rate cut in the Fed's next meeting later this month. About 88% think the economy will remain in its current target range. Earlier this month, the NYSE entered an exclusive partnership with America 250, the official organization leading a year-long series of events and programming to mark this milestone for our country. As our nation celebrates its 250th birthday this year, let's take a look at the NYSE's commitment to start the semi-quincentennial.
As we stand on the cusp of America's 250th anniversary, we're reminded of the principles that have powered the world's greatest economy.
The New York Stock Exchange is a cathedral of the capital markets, replete with rhythms and rituals that allocate resources towards socially valued uses. That story will reach a rare milestone when our republic marks its 250th year. Anniversaries of this magnitude demand more than just ceremony. They ask something of us. They invite us to reflect, to ensure that the future that we shape will prove to be worthy of the legacy that we've inherited.
Joining me now on this great celebration and the NYSE's commitment is Will Goodwin. He's head of strategic operations and corporate affairs for the New York Stock Exchange. Will, good morning.
Good morning, Kristen. Thanks so much for having me.
Great to have you. Great way to kick off 2026.
Absolutely.
What more can you share about this partnership?
Yeah, a patriotic way to start our Friday here. And the video highlighted it, but we have been working for 233 years to strengthen ties between the U.S. and our place in global economic leadership and what happens right here at the New York Stock Exchange at 11 Wall Street. And as we look ahead to 2026 and we prepare to celebrate America's 250th birthday, we wanted to make sure that the New York Stock Exchange and this incredible community was front and center and reminding folks about that legacy, about the connectivity between free markets, between the capital raised here and what it's done for people all across the United States and around the world. So we approached America 250, which is the official nonpartisan entity that's planning a year-long sprint of programming and celebrations to help mark the 250th. And as those conversations progressed, we got to the point where we stepped in as a sponsor, but as the exclusive stock exchange sponsor of all of those activities. So there will be a lot happening here over the next 12 months when it comes to celebrating America's birthday.
I'm excited for that indeed. What does this partnership mean for the NYSE?
Sure. Well, we like to say to people all the time, Kristen, as you know, that our nation and our markets literally grew up side by side right here at the corner of Wall and Broad Street. We walk by George Washington's statue every day at Federal Hall. It's the site where he took the oath of office to become our first president. First capital of the United States, first place where the Treasury Department and the State Department had a home. And so we talk about that history all the time. And when it comes to celebrating this year, there are a handful of cities that are going to be in focus across the whole country. And New York is one of those, particularly around July 4th weekend. And so, that's part of the legacy there, is that unique to New York, unique to NYSE, is that story of the birth of our incredible free markets and the birth of the country.
Let's drill in
Sure.
on NYSE and, of course, New York. What more can you share about the significance?
Absolutely. Well, you may remember we had a great bell last July 4th to kick off the one-year sprint with Sailforth 250, which is another entity that's working closely with us and with America 250, planning this incredible international naval review. So we did this back in 1976 for the 200th birthday of America, but there will be an incredible U.S. Navy presence along with our partners from all around the world, bringing their historic tall ships right into New York Harbor, coming in that week leading into July 4th. And on the 4th of July itself, we will have an incredible naval parade in the harbor. There will be something like 15,000 plus sailors and military officials from all around the world here to celebrate America's birthday before attention turns down to Washington, D.C. that evening. So as we get ready and we step into that week and we prepare to celebrate and we welcome those incredible service members to New York, they're going to be coming right here to the New York Stock Exchange.
It will be historic indeed, Will. What has this planning process been like?
Sure. Well, it's been iterative. Kristen, believe it or not, it's taken a few turns. But that's what's great, is that there are so many incredible entities involved in this. And for all of those organizations, those are friends of the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, long-standing relationships with the U.S. military, with officials in Washington, and also with the international community who's going to be here to celebrate. So we've been working together with those folks. And it's not just about the 4th of July itself. This is a continuation of activity that you've highlighted already throughout the year on the show. So the chairman of the SEC came in, he said, I want to give a speech about America's 250th and how we make sure that our capital markets are vibrant for the next 250. He delivered that speech right here from the boardroom, Chair Atkins did. So in the lead up to the July 4th celebrations and even beyond, we're going to have a host of other activities. We're going to welcome back the Congressional Medal of Honor Society for their gala. We saw some clips in the video. There, we're going to welcome Blue Star Families, an incredible leading military families organization, in just a few weeks to host their very first gala right here at the New York Stock Exchange. So this trajectory of celebrating America, but also honoring our service members, their families, veterans, and first responders, all of that activity is part of this celebration.
Very diligent planning, Will, it sounds like indeed. Any surprises or special moments,
Sure.
that magic, if you will, that we
Sure.
might be able to anticipate?
Well, as people know, as your viewers know, it's always magic here. We
Yes.
sprinkle the magic dust on every morning before we open the markets. So I don't want to give away too many of the surprises, but just to say that we're going to be working closely with you and your team as well to bring the celebration, to bring these fun elements of this 250th birthday directly to the viewers who are watching on NYSE TV. So they need to watch this space. There's more to follow.
We will be participating indeed. So it's a good way to ramp up the energy
Yes.
into this big celebration. How else can people stay connected?
Absolutely. No, I mean, really, follow us on our socials, but also stay engaged. Follow our partners at America 250, Sailforth 250. There are so many people who are both on the corporate side, individuals, nonprofits who are putting energy toward this celebration. And so, amplifying those efforts, but also one of the takeaways, one of the things that America 250 and the programming side is asking people to do is re-engage as citizens. right? To pay attention, to make sure that we're upholding our obligations as citizens and teaching our kids about civics, like all of these different pieces. So folks should stay engaged. They should look at what the message is there and then help spread it to their neighbors, to their fellow Americans.
Historic moment for the country. Absolutely. Exciting time for the NYSE
Yes.
and NYC. Will Goodwin, Head of Strategic Operations and Corporate Affairs at the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, as we get things underway and kick up this energy, you're taking a live look at the NYSE boardroom. We're going to hear exclusive remarks from the leader of the professional bull riders. Let's take a listen in as this celebration gets underway.
Meet some incredible people and go to some incredible places. And this, every year, is the highlight. It's one of the highlights of my career. When I look back on the things that we've been able to do in the PBR, this is going to be on the top of the list, getting an opportunity to open the New York Stock Exchange. And, you know, I've had a front row seat to arguably one of the greatest business stories of our modern times. 20 cowboys with $1,000 apiece and a shared dream to go build a business and create bull riding as a standalone sport. And to go from those humble beginnings to ultimately being traded on the New York Stock Exchange, first as part of Endeavor and now as part of TKO. For a bunch of bull riders and a bunch of rednecks, it's a pretty good day to be standing up here knowing that we're a part of this tradition. Not only just showing up and opening the stock exchange, but being traded on the stock exchange through TKO. And to get to do it with Boot Barn, we've grown up together in a lot of ways. I think 515 stores now, 2 opening, let's see, you can't keep up with you guys, but by Tuesday it'll be 517. Jersey City opening this weekend. So to have the opportunity to do it here with Boot Barn is incredible. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a partner. Thank you to the riders and our guests and everybody that have come to join us for this. Let's enjoy.
So Sean, you've done this a lot, so I presented a medallion.
Live remarks there from the CEO and Commissioner of PBR, professional bull rider Sean Gleason. He's going to join me down there on the trading floor after the equity markets open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Well, stay with us because up next, one financial technology firm is in the headlines after making a 9-figure move this week. We'll share those details on the other side of this break.
"16 years ago, an anonymous person released an idea onto the internet. No identity, no institution behind it, no marketing strategy. It was just a white paper and a challenge to everything we thought about money. What if money were open instead of closed? What if it belonged to everyone instead of being controlled by a few? Bitcoin survived every attempt to kill it, because the idea itself was stronger than the forces that tried to stop it. And now, today, inside one of the most iconic institutions in the world of finance, we honor a creator who never asked for credit, never stood in front of cameras, and ultimately stepped away so that the idea could stand on its own. Satoshi Nakamoto."
Why are we here? Because Magnum Ice Cream Company is an ambitious company. We're all about growth. And for growth, you need people and you need to have belief that focus on only ice cream will propel this business. These folks here in the room wake up every morning thinking about ice cream, and they go to bed thinking about ice cream, and that's why it will be a successful company that delights the world with unbelievable products.
Welcome back to NYSE Live. Earlier this week, digital asset and stablecoin infrastructure company Fireblocks announced the acquisition of Trust Finance. In a statement, Fireblocks says the move will help form the foundational infrastructure for an on-chain financial world, integrating controls into critical business operations. This past fall, Rand Goldie, the company's SVP of Payments and Network, told JD Durkin how close we are to round-the-clock settlements across the payment space. Let's take a look.
We're there. Like, in a way, you can now actually go into a store, pay a merchant with a card that's actually linked to a digital asset-based wallet. That wallet is, in a way, the issuer of your funds. They'll settle with Visa instantly with a stablecoin. Visa will settle with the acquirer instantly with a stablecoin. And if the acquirer is actually settling with their merchants instantly, then by the time you leave the door of that store, the merchant will already have the funds. So it's possible, we're there. Is it scaled? Is it mainstream? Is it everywhere? No. It will take, honestly, a decade probably. Look, people think that innovation happens overnight. You and I have been doing this for a while. I'm still waiting for my fridge to order milk without me, right?
Yeah, right.
But they've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, the Internet of Things. Yeah, we were there a while ago.
Right, so we're all like super hyped about innovation. It happens, but it takes time. So it's out there, but it will take another decade probably to reach all of us.
What are the biggest things that need to happen, you think, from now through the next 10 years to actually make it a little bit more of a reality, Rand?
You're not gonna like the answer, but as always, it's actually regulation. Because you saw what happened in the last year. Like Genius Act came to life, and suddenly you have huge companies like MoneyGram stepping in, Western Union, you have banks announcing that they're coming in. It's all because of regulation. Once the government say to these big folks that are actually moving money globally, you can do this, they're all over it. So this is what's happening right now in the US. We want this to happen in Europe as well. We need more regulation. We want it to happen in LATAM, in India, all over the place, Japan, just regulation.
I'm a former politics reporter, so believe it or not, I love that response, that it's regulation and governance, because that's really front and center.
Most people in digital assets and DeFi do not like this answer. This is why I'm not invited to parties, but that's the reality. We need the world to accept it so it become a world thing.
We'll throw our own party then in this case, and we'll talk about all this good stuff. Talk to me about what tokenization at scale really looks like for banks and big institutions.
Oh, that's a great question, because right now it's a very siloed, I would say, industry and economy in digital assets. You have more than like 1,000 different types of digital assets. You have stable coins, you have crypto, you have whatever. They're not interoperable at all. When we're talking about a future of everything is tokenized, first of all, we need to understand that we need to go towards interoperability, right? Like, it doesn't help if bank A, B, C, D, E all create their own stable coin. They all need to create something that, like, the dollar is interchangeable, right? We need the same in the stablecoin world. We need the same in the tokenized assets world. That's like step one. This will take time as well. The other thing is, I think that people don't understand, stablecoins are in a way a phase. They're a stepping stone. Like, we can say this because no one's hearing other than your probably 2 million listeners, but stablecoins are not amazing for banks. Banks do not like one-to-one reserve. They want to rehypothecate funds. So stablecoins will probably slowly move over to be a tokenized deposit. Once tokenized deposits are, created by more and more banks globally, and with interoperability, then we'll get to this world. And then finally, the world will run 24/7. But again, baby steps.
Baby steps, and we'll get there. Tell me about some of the ways that your institutional clients are using digital assets simply beyond crypto trading.
So, I look at this world of digital assets as like 3 waves. In 2017, if you were an institution, all you would talk to us about was, how can I hold Bitcoin for my clients? That's, that was nice, and Bitcoin's great, buy it. Obviously, I invented it, so I want people to buy it. I'm kidding. But
I was like, oh, that was you. Yeah.
My second name's Satoshi. But so in 2017, it was all about custody. In 24, 25, right now it's payments. All these institutions are asking us, how can I create stablecoin accounts for my businesses, not retail yet, to get paid in a stablecoin, pay out in a stablecoin. What I think will be the next wave of institution adoption is tokenized assets, which we've already made clear, money market funds, tokenized deposits, tokenized securities like Robinhood did recently. That is what I think they will be talking more about with us.
What would you say are among the biggest barriers still holding back enterprise-grade adoption for on-chain payments?
So it's really that those organizations need to feel comfortable, because again, the regulation, especially in the US, the regulation is sort of here, not 100% here, but sort of here. But you still, when you go to a large institution, you still meet people who, and again, I'm not blaming anyone, they just still don't know, like a stable coin, do I really trust this?
All right, thanks again to Rand Goldie and JD Durkin for that interview. Well, up next, CES 2026 enters its final day. Our next guest shares his thoughts on the tech startup landscape. Stay with us.
The New York Stock Exchange is a cathedral of the capital markets. So there are a few places more fitting to consider the future of the American financial system than this one.
At the NYSE, we applaud SEC Chairman Atkins and the entire Trump administration for working to reduce the burdens on existing public companies and soon-to-be public companies.
I believe that we will ensure that the American story, which began in many ways just steps outside, is preserved not by memory or speeches alone, but by the courage of those who are determined to chart its next chapter.
When we talk about the titans of industry and we talk about the titans of finance, there's a reason that we're all coming together still after all these years to the corner of Wall and Broad Street.
We are ringing the opening bell this morning to celebrate the launch of 6 new ETFs by Direction.
We look forward to many more. I mean, today's 6, we're going to do hundreds more.
The New York Stock Exchange, the home of ETFs.
Welcome back to NYSE Live, everyone. CES 2026 billed itself as the most powerful tech event in the world, and it enters its final day today from Las Vegas. Well, startups are making an impact, including Lumen, which took home the grand prize at the CES Foundation Pitch Competition. And joining me now with more is Frank Gruber, co-CEO of Established and managing partner of Established Ventures. Frank, great to have you on the show this morning. Thanks for getting up early in Las Vegas. I know it's been busy on the ground. What takes you to CES this year?
Well, thanks so much for having me, first off. And what brings me here is really what you just mentioned. The future shows up early here, just like me this morning, as you can see the sun rising over my shoulder here. But yeah, it's really exciting this year. Not so much the gadgets that you see, but just discovering the people and the startups and the technology that are really solving real world problems to make and shape life and make it better for everyone. So that's really what I'm excited about.
What has been Established role at CES, including your work with the CTA Foundation Pitch Competition?
Yeah, so the Established is the company I run, and we basically have worked with the CTA Foundation and Steve Ewell and his team now for 8 years, producing what is their pitch event at CES. And I emceed it last year, but this year we had a great MC named Lex Gillette. He did a great job, and really the whole focus is trying to shine a light and spotlight breakthrough technologies that this year was really focused on helping older adults live more independently at their home longer. So trying to think about like smart home innovations and tools that help with mobility, enhanced monitoring systems for at-home parents that might be elderly. And just the solutions to help make that better for everyone, because there's millions of Americans today are aging, and these are all different technologies that might make that a little bit better for everyone. So as you mentioned, Lumen did take home the top award. They were like a headwear / they call it glasses, more like a headwear that replicates the features of a guide dog for those that might not be able to see. And there are others as well, like Karen's Health, which is like a monitoring system for folks that are trying to monitor their parents at home so they could stay at home and live at home. And there's also an Audience Choice, which was a company called EverX. They are a patient tracking engagement tool for remote therapeutic monitoring. So think about physical therapy. You can now do it remotely and not have to necessarily go into the doctor as much. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty interesting technologies. These are companies coming from all over the country and world, and obviously coming together to coalesce at that event.
What are some of the things you're seeing on the ground this year that really stick out to you, in addition to what you just laid out there?
Yeah, I've been coming to CES for almost 20 years now, and every year it changes, right, what the theme and focus is. The last few has been all about AI, as we obviously have had this AI revolution, and that's changed over the course of the last couple of years. I'd say last year was like, we have AI inside, and big signs about it. Now you're seeing an actual more physical implementation. So everything from AI hologram companions to actual physical robots. There are a bunch of robots around. Everything from like little pets, emotional support pets. There was one actually that pitched at the event that we produced with the CTA Foundation called Tombots, Jenny, which is a little remote dog, basically, folks elderly that cannot take care of animals anymore. So anyway, we're living in the future. It's very exciting. Things like things I grew up watching, like the Jetsons, where you have your Rosie, the robot that kind of is your at-home companion, helping with things around the house. That's happening right now. Like, they're literally showcasing some of those kinds of companies today, and it's pretty exciting where we're at. We're actually living in the future. But so AI is obviously a big part of it. You're still seeing new innovations around, things like flying cars and different types of drones, and over the last 20 years, it's always been about TVs, and there still are TVs, and they're getting more interesting, thinner, obviously, now 3D, and really, that the bar continues to move up, though, as far as what's being moved forward. So it's pretty exciting.
Talk to me more about the Established Network, the Startup of the Year awards, and how those connect to what you are doing with Established Ventures.
Yeah, sure. So the Established Network is a network that's really been put together to support innovation and innovators. We bring together kind of a wider funnel of folks, from investors to thought leaders and actual startup founders. And we've worked with thousands of startups through the Startup of the Year program, which kind of sits under it. And the whole point of it is to really build the connections and support needed to be successful in creating innovation in this country. And we try to spotlight the most interesting companies through some of our programs and give them additional support to kind of move forward. And then with Established Ventures, that's kind of our investment arm of our company. And so we then find the kind of more interesting companies that kind of resonate with us and kind of fit the theme and thesis, and we invest in those. And so we've invested in fintech companies, health and wellness companies, and of course, some space companies. But AI kind of runs through a lot of those now, and it really has become the plumbing or technology behind the scenes is what to make those companies hum. And so, but anyway, it's a pipeline we really focus on.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us from Las Vegas. We see the sunrise. We did in your shot, rising over your shoulder there. Frank is a co-CEO of Established and managing partner of Established Ventures. Frank, enjoy this final day at CES 2026.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. In just a moment, we're going to take you live to that opening bell podium where Professional Bull Riders, better known as PBR, is set to kick off the final trading session of the first full week of trade in 2026. This organization, as you see there, is part of NYSE listed TKO, on hand before its MSG event this weekend. Let's take a look.
As we stand on the cusp of America's 250th anniversary, we're reminded of the principles that have powered the world's greatest economy.
The New York Stock Exchange is a cathedral of the capital markets, replete with rhythms and rituals that allocate resources towards socially valued uses. That story will reach a rare milestone when our republic marks its 250th year. Anniversaries of this magnitude demand more than just ceremony. They ask something of us. They invite us to reflect, to ensure that the future that we shape will prove to be worthy of the legacy that we've inherited.
We are off to the races here at the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks officially open for trade in the final trading session of the first full week of 2026. Joining me now with more is Todd Sohn, ETF and technical strategist at Strategis Asset Management. Todd, thank you so much for joining this morning from New York. How does the market look to you as we kick off 2026?
Hey, Kristen, great to see you as well. I think the market looks in pretty firm hands. This is a broad-based move. You have the equal weight S&P 500 back to new highs, and this is seemingly coming at the expense of your cap weight benchmarks, right? Tech has paused here, but the good news is you're seeing other corners of the U.S. market and really the global market too maintain their position, right? So this is not about deterioration of internals or anything like that. This is about other ignored corners participating. That's very good, especially if you're a tactical or active player in the markets.
What does the jobs report this morning for December mean in terms of the trends, Todd? Does it change them at all? 50,000 jobs added in December, below economists' expectations, but the unemployment rate did tick down to 4.4%.
Yeah, I think it's more of the same. Without having a full focus on that area, it seems like the market is reacting in the first few minutes here with the trajectory that's been going on over the last couple of weeks to months, right? Where it's this movement away from large cap growth and AI to some extent because the expectations are too high, and towards all these other areas like financials, industrials, materials, that frankly have been ignored and have not necessarily outperformed over the last couple of years. So I think this is folks just saying, hey, we're taking this data in stride. We're okay with that. And in the meantime, let's go and balance out our portfolios away from things that we might have over concentration to.
It's interesting because what seemed to be working in 2025 also, at least at the start of 2026, was, right? And we've seen a broadening out from AI to the technology space in general. What are you watching when it comes to some sector rotation?
I think if you look at sector ETF flows, right, they have been all in on tech, really, frankly, for the last couple of years. And that's been the right call, especially with the proliferation of AI. But then if you look at other corners such as healthcare, energy, materials to some extent, those have seen a massive amount of outflows. And I think that's a lot of opportunity for investors who may have looked past those sectors to get involved there. There's still very much timely buyer work, and they don't seem too consensus just yet based on what the flows are saying. So I think the investors are starting to realize, hey, there's other things out there besides large cap tech that we can allocate to in our portfolios, especially if you want to water down that exposure, right? We know about 10 stocks being 40% of the indices. There's so much other opportunity out there for investors, especially through ETFs or just playing it actively. Those are the areas I would focus on this year, at least in the first half of 2020-26.
What are going to be the major moments throughout this year, Todd, that you'll be watching that could impact the direction of the overall market?
Keep an eye on rates, long rates, right? The 10-year yield, 30-year yield, right? I think if there's anything that's going to upset the market, the equity markets, and cause some indigestion, I believe it would be a run higher in U.S. rates. Thus far, the 10-year has frankly been range bound for ages. It feels like just this big trading range, not much signal there. But whenever you start to get rates get some momentum, that typically causes indigestion for markets. So that is the one glaring item that I would keep an eye on. I'm curious to see what commodities do from here, right? Metals aside, which I'm not sure I would chase right here, can oil dig in and maybe start to rally? That'll have some implications for stuff like energy. Putting it all together, it comes back to rates. That's when you really get markets upset, when they get a surprise on the upside from rates, and it's not this kind of slow grind trading range that they've been in.
How important is the month of January in stocks performance to kick off 2026 to set up the rest of the year? We hear of so many seasonals in January, Todd. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, there's the January barometer, right? You got the Santa Claus rally the first 5 days, and then as so goes January, so goes the market, and it's the analogy is baseball, right? If you are in the early part of a game and you're putting runs up on the scoreboard, you have a much higher likelihood of actually winning that game. So if we can get January off to a good start, the rest of the year, historically, is pretty good. So you just want to start to get off on the right foot. It may sound wacky and odd because there's still 11 months left in the year, but the statistics say you get off on the right foot, you're usually in pretty good. Now, the wild card this year is there's a midterm election, and that can cause some volatility. That can cause some drawdowns. So I would just keep that in the back of our minds in terms of planning on how what your allocations are going to be. It can't hurt to have some sort of hedge on, whether it's a put option or some of the ETFs out there that can protect on the downside. Back to your main question, so it goes January, so goes the market.
Todd Sohn, ETF and technical strategist at Strategas Asset Management. Todd, thanks again and Happy New Year.
You too.
All right, everyone, still to come. Parabolis Medicines just announced $305 million in a Series F round. Its CEO, Dr. Mathai Mammen, is going to join us to reveal how it plans to allocate the fresh capital and distinguish itself across the healthcare space. Later on, I'll head down to the trading floor and speak with today's bell ringer. You saw him on the podium there, PBR CEO and Commissioner Sean Gleason, about this weekend's event at Madison Square Garden. Stay with us.
I'm just so honored and so grateful to you, Lynn, for welcoming us to announce our Time Person of the Year, the architects of AI. I want to take a moment to welcome Chris Lehane. You have been an incredible driving force, making AI accessible to everyone, and we are so glad that you are here with us today. We are focusing on the leaders and the people and the humans that are imagining and building this future that we will all be living in.
We had somebody ask us recently, why are you going out at this time of the year? The reason we're doing this is for our people. It's not about us. Our motivation for doing this transaction is to make this a better place for the next generation. We have a stewardship responsibility to our people to give them a professional and a financial opportunity that's better than what we have. And what I am very proud of is the team that we have here. This is a true partnership in every sense of the word.
Welcome back to NYSE Live. Earlier this week, biopharmaceutical startup Parabolis Medicines announced that it raised $305 million in a Series F funding round. It's the latest advancement for a company that's on a mission to develop medicines with the potential to deliver truly life-changing impact. Joining me now with more is Dr. Mathai Mammen, Chairman and CEO of Parabolis Medicines. Doctor, it's great to see you this morning. Joining us from San Francisco, congratulations, $305 million in a Series F round. What went into this?
Good morning, Kristen. Thank you for the opportunity to comment. We're very excited about this round. It's the culmination of some of the data that I had a chance to review with you and the just glorious progression of the entire pipeline at Parabolis Medicines, where we're making unique medicines that really don't exist in the pharmaceutical industry otherwise, that we think can benefit patients. And investors were able to see that. And some amazing investors like RA Capital, Fidelity, Janus Henderson led this round with an already great syndicate. So we feel very good about where we are.
Yeah. How are you going to use this money to grow the company?
So there are several big activities that this money will be used for that would ultimately yield medicines that really matter for patients. First and foremost, there is our beta-catenin inhibitor now going under the name zoleucatide, and that compound will be advanced into phase 3 registrational studies for desmoid tumors. There will be trials that expand the use of that compound into other indications, such as liver cancer, familial adenomatous polyposis, colorectal cancer, and a range of both rare and common tumors. Number two, we're advancing our portfolio. We have 2 pretty special prostate cancer programs that I'm convinced will make a meaningful difference to men that have metastatic prostate cancer. And third, we have a whole slew of ideas that make use of what is now proven and validated as a pretty special technology for allowing us to drug otherwise undruggable proteins.
I'm curious in terms of what's next for Parabolis and its differentiator in this space.
So next, it's heads down. We have this excellent financing behind us, and we can focus now on execution. A lot of companies don't focus enough on execution. We're attentive to every detail. So we will put our heads down and get the job done.
In terms of the undruggable, as you referenced earlier, why is such a large percentage of biology undruggable?
Great question. Inside a cell, in order to be druggable, proteins require a small pocket for drugs to bind. And these are the kind of oral pills one takes. They require that from a biophysical nature. Most proteins inside cells lack such a pocket. Perhaps up to 80% of such proteins lack such a pocket and are therefore undruggable. There's no opportunity to use regular small molecule medicines. They require an alternate solution that's never existed in the industry before Parabolis Medicines. So we've spent the last decade validating our approach, which uses helical peptides that are designed to gently enter cells and bind to surfaces that are relatively flat, that are not described as a pocket, and therefore open the door to much of this 80% that's otherwise undruggable.
How does this change the development of tumors and combat them?
So there are many tumors, several million a year, in fact, that are driven by beta-catenin inhibitors. So our lead compound, zoleucatide, inhibits beta-catenin. This is a classically undruggable protein. People have tried for decades to drug this and have failed, including myself in previous roles that I've held at Merck and J&J. Here, we've been able to drug this. So in principle, many tumors that are driven in the same way, beta-catenin mutations or APC mutations, are amenable to treatment with our drug. And we've seen some amazing data that we had the opportunity to discuss earlier that shows great, uniform, deep, and durable response for patients that are otherwise suffering.
Doctor, anything more that you can share with us before we have to let you go? We appreciate you joining early from San Francisco.
We're appreciative of everyone that's around us, both inside the company, but also the physicians, nurses, patients that are participants in our trial, and of course now our newly minted investors. They're all partners in this journey that we're taking to help patients.
And Dr. Mathai Mammen, he's the chairman and CEO of Parabilis Medicines. Doctor, congratulations again, and thanks so much for your time and work.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, in some other news, NYSE-listed Roblox released its 2025 replay in December, providing a closer look at how users are expressing themselves and engaged on the platform. Ashley Masternardi spoke with Allison McDuffie, Roblox's global head of brand insights and measurements, about what the findings say about its user base. Take a look.
So many great insights in this. So it's a perfect mix of Roblox first-party data, understanding search behavior, user behavior, what certain people are doing in certain countries on different devices. And then we blended that with third-party data from a research study with our partner Ipsos and our digital expression report. And that really goes the next layer deep. So thinking about why people are coming to the platform in the first place, how they express themselves, how they show up, what they're wearing on their avatar, how they're interacting with brands, just a plethora of information and insights. And I think that this is one of the first types of reports that we've done in this form, and we're going to really see some interesting insights coming out of it.
What were some of the key insights, specific insights that you found?
So first, let's talk about search. 50 million searches a day on Roblox. And the majority of that is actually not just searching one specific game. They're searching for all different types of information and insights. They're really focused on discovery. So our platform allows them to find a new game, find a new trend, find a new meme, find a new piece of virtual item that they want to put onto their avatar. And so the discovery really is just really exponential for this audience. So we learned some interesting insights about how, maybe in Brazil, we see a really heavy spike in searches for football, of course. And then maybe in Germany, there's a specific, engagement where people are running around trying to, save the next town. So there's so many different things and different aspects that people can find throughout this report.
And when people are searching for trends on Roblox, how does that come up? What does that look like? For example, 6-7 is the big Gen Z, Gen Alpha trend right now. Do you have any examples of how that might come to fruition?
Yeah, so I can't believe I'm going to say 6-7 on the floor of the stock exchange, but I did. But it is something where, again, Roblox is really reflecting what's happening in culture. So recently we had Skrilla, who is the artist behind the 6-7 trend, actually come on, create the animation so that everyone can actually have their avatars do the 6-7 motion, and then also create a pretty cool chain so that everybody can wear it on their avatar. But it's examples like that where the culture just comes to life. Brands are able to bring their IP and really interact and be authentic for our audience, and that's so important for this generation. Authenticity is at the core. 84% say that they want to actually reflect their physical style based on what's on their avatar, which is just a totally different approach than even my generation was in the past.
And Roblox is big into partnerships. You've had some with Lady Gaga, Travis Kelce, and Wicked. Can you talk about how those come to fruition?
So much hard work behind these, but really we want to make sure that brands can show up as themselves and be there for the long term. So we don't want to flash in the pan. We want to make sure that brands can really reach out to this next generation, because this is the next generation of consumers. Lady Gaga, as you mentioned, was on Dress to Impress. We had 1.3 million people actually come to her meet and greet, and all these different types of experiences. This generation wants that interactivity. They want that participation. So when brands like Wicked and NBC Universal come to the platform, they allow them to really bring it to life in a totally different way than they can from any other passive media.
I know 100 years isn't much in the New York Stock Exchange laurels, but we're very proud. First U.S. airline to reach 100. The resilience and the determination to move forward despite all odds is something that I think we're all proud of. And we've had a great opportunity to celebrate this year. The power of obsessing on our customers is what makes Delta really great. And my superpower, I'd like to think, is obsessing on them, on these people, so that they can go do the job. And it's not just me, it's our leadership team in terms of making it happen.
It's a bit of a pinch me moment. I mean, everyone's here. Here we just rung the New York Stock Exchange bell. In a lot of ways, it's a dream come true. When you walk around the NYSE floor, it's just emblematic of the American dream. Look, if I can do it, others can do it too. So believe in yourself, work hard, be the best you can be every day, and it compounds.
A plan to go and change the way people fly. It is the next step. When we look back at what we promised to go do and then we go do it, it'll be the foundation of our business that builds us to the next step. And it's because of the people here and what you all did, which was enabling greatness.
Welcome back to NYSE Live, everyone. We're down here on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. You saw the professional bull riders ring the opening bell to kick off this Friday trading session ahead of its Monster Energy Buck-Off event at Madison Square Garden this weekend. Joining me now down here on the floor with more is Sean Gleason. He's PBR's CEO and Commissioner. Sean, welcome, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, great way to start it here at the Stock Exchange.
Yes, indeed, bringing the energy. What can you share about this upcoming event this weekend?
Well, it's going to be, for sure, our second year in a row that we sold out every performance of the Buck-Off at the Garden. It's taken us a lot of years to get there, but we won't have a ticket left when it comes to Sunday.
Your 19th time at Madison Square Garden, is that right?
It is 19 years that we've been bucking here. We missed a year for COVID, but over 20 years we've been here 19 times.
Yeah. Walk us through what people can expect at this year's event.
They can expect the same product that we've been bringing for a long time, which is the best bull riders in the world against the best bulls. And when you put those two things together and you wrap it in a rock concert environment, it's a great family experience, it's a great party experience, and when those guys ride those bulls, it's just magic.
Yeah. What makes a successful bull ride?
Well, first of all, you got to stay on for 8 seconds. And then you don't want the easiest bull. You want a bull that is difficult to ride because half the score goes to the bull. 0 to 50 points awarded to the bull for how difficult they are. And then the rider gets 0 to 50 points for how in control they are during the ride. So you got to make 8 seconds, and you want a bull that came out and did his job, and you did your job, and then you're going to get a score in the high 80s and maybe even the 90s.
How does this weekend's 3-day event at MSG, the Buck-Off event, fit into the broader roster for PBR during the season?
Well, it's one of our major events. It's one of the only 3-day events on the schedule. A lot of points up here, a lot of money, and so very early in the season right now, we're just getting going with the 2026 campaign, and very early in the season, this event can put somebody out in front for a number of weeks, and so it's a very important event in the competition schedule.
Yeah. You were in Boston just last weekend. What was that like?
You know, we're at TD Garden, and don't tell them I said this, but not the real garden. We were at TD Garden for the first time ever, complete sellout. The Boston fans were incredible. And to do that and then come down here to Madison Square Garden and have a sellout, you know, I have to pinch myself sometimes to just make sure that it's all going as I as it is because it seems surreal.
Yeah. Any riders, any bulls that people should be watching out for that you think could stand out this weekend?
Well, we have the best field of bull riders that we've had in a long time. A bunch of young guys that are 19, 20 years old. John Crimber, Marco Rizzo, Clay Guyton. And then you've got a few of the old-timers now. You say old-timers and they're in their 30s. But, Jose Vitor Leme is back and Casio Diaz. And so there's this great mix of bull riders. And every week they've just been bringing it. It's been electric. And I think that, provided they can all stay healthy, we're going to have the most competitive season we've ever had.
Yeah. Tell me more about the Unleash the Beast series of yours.
Yeah, it's the top 40 bull riders in the world. They compete 18 events across the regular season. Then we go into the PBR World Finals in Texas, and they battle it out over 8 rounds of competition, and we ultimately crown a world champion, give them a gold buckle and $1 million.
We've seen you down here a lot at the New York Stock Exchange over the years. Sean, what does it mean to be back here ringing the opening bell?
I never take it for granted. I think it's somewhere between 12 and 14 times that I've been here with the opportunity to open the stock exchange, and it truly is, as I look back on my career, one of the highlights. We get to do a lot of cool things, meet a lot of cool people, and go to a lot of cool places, but nothing stacks up to opening the stock exchange.
All right, well, I hope it's a successful buck-off event this weekend.
It will be.
All right. Sean Gleason joining me down here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. He is PBR's CEO and commissioner. Again, that 3-day event kicking off at Madison Square Garden. Bringing the energy down here as we look to round out the first full trading week of 2026. I see the markets higher across the board, fractional gains. A reminder to our viewers, you can watch us each weekday on all the streaming services that you see on your screen right there. We are back on the road throughout the year, but anchoring this show from the NYSE each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, bringing you the opening bell and everything else you need to know. Markets in a good mood here as we kick off 2026. What worked in 2025 continues to be the major theme. The technology gains broadening out, in fact, and many of our market guests think that that's a positive for this year. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday morning.
Welcome to the public market.
The New York Stock Exchange is a cathedral of the capital markets. So there are a few places more fitting to consider the future of American financial system than this one.
So thrilled for this next chapter to begin today with all of you in this historic building.
The day we went public, it was the most bizarre day of my life. He said, yesterday, Shake Shack was the most beloved hamburger company in the entire country. Today, it's going to be the most reviled stock. He said, you guys are never going to grow into your $46 valuation. How many Shacks did we have 10 years ago? 31 Shacks. And did I not just hear Rob say that we're going to have 1,500 Shacks? So yes, we grew into that $46. It's all because of you guys. I'm so proud of you, every one of you. You work so hard to make so many people happy, and you make your communities better. What more could you ask for?